Today we are talking about success and why it might be suffocating you. The reason so many high achievers feel overwhelmed is because they're not taking the time to breathe. You might have a thriving career, a packed schedule, tons of opportunities, but how do you actually find peace and balance in the midst of all that chaos? This is the paradox. And it's one of the hardest things to grasp when you're constantly chasing success. But the good news is that there actually is, whether you like it or not, a right answer. Now, I've studied countless successful people from CEOs to creatives, and they all do one thing that sets them apart. And it's not about working harder or even hustling more. This hidden power has helped people stay grounded, calm, and focused no matter how much chaos surrounds them. So in this video, I'm going to break it all down. This is the simple yet powerful method for breathing through life's chaos and still finding success. By the way, my name is John. I've helped high achievers find peace in the hustle. And this practice is what made all the difference for me. All right, let's dive in. But I want to share with you this personal story that relates to this. I remember not long ago when I felt like I personally was suffocating. On the surface, everything looked perfect. My career skyrocketing, bank account looking healthy, living in the kind of quote-unquote luxury I once dreamed of. But deep inside, I was barely holding it together. I was constantly moving, constantly chasing the next deal, the next goal, the next big thing. But no matter how much I achieved, I still felt lost, overwhelmed, like I was drowning. It was all too much. And I remember one specific night, and I was sitting at 3 a.m., staring at a screen full of emails and texts. Mind's racing. Body was running on fumes. Exhausted. But there was this nagging feeling that I couldn't shake. So I kept asking myself, what is all of this for? Why am I doing this to myself? That's when I realized something profound. I wasn't just busy. I was disconnected. I had forgotten how to simply breathe. I had forgotten how to focus, stay calm under pressure, create space for myself. I had become so caught up in the race that I lost sight of what truly mattered. The truth hit me hard. In fact, as you guys know, in this fast-paced world, the air is more than just oxygen. It's the mental clarity, the focus, the ability to stay centered when everything around you is chaotic. I had to learn to create space for myself again. So to slow down, focus on what truly mattered, to say no to distractions, and to say yes to my peace of mind. You're navigating the complex world of adulthood, trying to make sense of who you are and who you want to become. You're told to hustle, to grind, to work hard, to be successful, and sometimes that pressure can feel suffocating. There's an undeniable pressure to figure things out. But here's the truth. You can't be successful if you can't breathe. Very basic. Brothers, I know the weight that you carry. I've done it too. But here's the thing. If you want to thrive, if you want to truly live and not just exist, you must learn to breathe. And that starts with mastering your focus, staying calm, and having the persistence to stay true to yourself no matter how loud the world gets. You've got to make space for air. Sounds simple, but without it, you're nothing. No, I'm not talking about something as obvious as air. I'm talking about something deeper, something essential to your survival as a person. I'm talking about the importance of focus, staying calm under pressure, persistence, and creating space for yourself to thrive. So today I want to talk to you about the power of breathing. Breathing through the challenges that you face in life. When you don't breathe, you suffocate. You lose sight of the bigger picture. You make very rash decisions, you burn out, and you simply become overwhelmed. But when you breathe, you learn to pause, refocus, and push through. The world opens up to you in ways that you can't imagine. We all know we're living in this fast-paced world, even in the most remote parts. Because of this technology, you still feel the fast-pacedness. It's full of distractions, pressures, and expectations. So it's very easy to get lost in the noise and to think that the only way forward is to sprint full speed. But that's a lie. If you don't breathe, you'll miss the chance to truly live. You'll miss the opportunity to reach your full potential. So let's break this down. And I wanted to speak to you guys here today and leave you with a renewed sense of purpose. I want you to understand that in the midst of all of this chaos, there's power in pausing, in breathing, and in staying focused on what truly matters. Life throws a lot of challenges at you, whether it's school, work, relationships, trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. You're likely balancing multiple things at once. Stress is a natural part of the equation, but when that stress mounts, it's easy to lose your ability to think clearly. You start to feel like you're drowning in responsibilities and your goals. You get anxious, you get distracted, and you even may get burned out. Now, when that happens, it's like you stop breathing. When we talk about breathing, we're really talking about creating mental and emotional space for yourself. It's about stepping back when everything feels chaotic, taking a deep breath and remembering that you're in control of this. Because if you can't breathe, you can't pause, you lose your clarity. You lose your ability to make decisions. You lose your sight of the bigger picture. Now, breathing is not just a physical process. It's for sure a mental one too. In times of stress or pressure, you need to learn how to stay calm, assess the situation, and take purposeful action. Think about it. When you take a deep breath, you're slowing down the noise in your mind, and you're giving yourself the chance to reclaim and regain perspective. Breathing is like pressing the reset button on your thoughts and emotions. It's about recalibrating yourself to tackle whatever challenge comes next, not from a place of panic, but from a place of clarity and focus. And one of the biggest issues that men face today is that we're constantly bombarded with distractions. We live in an age where it's very easy to get lost in the noise, whether that be social media, phone notifications, endless entertainment, and peer pressure to be something that we're not. If you don't learn to breathe, to pause, and to reset, this noise will drown you. What happens when you can't breathe? When you lose focus? You start to live in a state of reaction instead of action. You make decisions based on what's immediately in front of you rather than focusing on the bigger goal. Your energy gets scattered in all directions, and you end up chasing things that don't truly matter. And when you do that, you burn out. You run out of mental and emotional energy, and it feels like you're running on empty. But if you can breathe, if you can block out the noise and focus, you will gain momentum. Focus is your superpower, because when you can shut out distractions and lock in on one goal or your goals, no one can stop you. Think about that time when you were fully immersed in something. Maybe it was a project that you deeply cared about, or a sport, a skill that you were working on, and you lost track of time. Your mind was sharp and you completely aligned with your purpose. That is focus. And here's the key. Focus is not something that you're necessarily born with fully. It's a skill that you develop. You develop the skill when you breathe through the nose, you step back and you focus on what matters, and when you discipline your mind to stay locked in on the task at hand. And I say breathe through the nose because the nose is meant for breathing, not the mouth. This ability to focus, this ability to breathe through the chaos is what separates those who succeed from those who get lost. This is not about being the smartest or most talented. It's about being able to maintain focus and keep pushing forward even when things get tough. I want to talk now about persistence. Persistence. In life, things are not always going to go your way. You'll face obstacles, failures, and setbacks, sometimes major ones. You'll have moments when you feel like quitting, when you feel exhausted, when the path ahead seems very unclear. And this is where breathing really matters. When you're faced with adversity, if you don't breathe, you will panic. And panic leads to rash decisions and self-doubt. You'll think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this isn't worth it. But if you can breathe, if you can step back and take a deep breath, you'll have the clarity to push through. Now, persistence is not about charging forward, like blindly. It's about knowing when to pause, when to regroup, and when to push forward again. Sometimes when you're pushing for success, it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the challenges that seem insurmountable. But if you breathe, you stay calm, you assess the situation, and you adjust your approach. You'll find that these challenges actually aren't as impossible as they seem. I want you to remember this. People who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who keep going when failure is staring at them in the face. When you push through difficult moments, you develop a resilience that makes you stronger. Persistence isn't about physical endurance. It's about emotional endurance. It's about sticking with your goals day after day, regardless of what's happening, even when things aren't going according to plan. And if you don't breathe, you will quit. But if you breathe, you'll find that you can keep moving forward one step at a time. One of the hardest lessons for young men to learn really is the importance of patience. We live in a world that glorifies instant gratification. You're told to hustle, build your wealth, grow your following, and do it fast. But success doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. And if you're not careful, you'll burn out trying to get there too quickly. So you need to understand that life is a marathon and not a sprint. The people who achieve lasting success are the ones who understand that it takes time, persistence, and focus. But if you can't breathe through those moments, when impatience creeps in, when you feel like giving up because you're not seeing immediate results, you'll be better equipped to handle the long road ahead. If you don't breathe, if you don't have the patience to stay the course, you'll burn yourself out. But if you breathe, if you follow and allow yourself to trust the process, even when it feels like progress is going too slow, you'll achieve your goals and you'll enjoy the journey along the way. Mental health is a huge topic these days, and for good reason. As a man between the ages of 15 and 34, 40, even 50 now, you're facing more pressure than ever before. The expectations placed on you, whether by your family, friends, or society, can be overwhelming. And when you're constantly striving and constantly comparing yourself to others, your mental health can take a serious hit. And that's why breathing is not just about focus and persistence. It is also about self-care. It is about knowing that when you take a step back, when you rest, when you prioritize your emotional well-being, you realize that you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of your mental health is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. Learning to breathe, to pause, and to reconnect with yourself is one of the most important skills that you can develop. Now, gentlemen, if you don't breathe, you won't make it. If you don't breathe, you'll lose your focus. You'll give up too soon. You'll lose sight of the bigger picture. But if you learn to breathe, if you learn to pause, refocus, and push through, you'll discover a power within yourself that you never knew existed. So the next time you're facing a challenge, or the next time that you feel overwhelmed, remember this. Take a deep breath, step back, refocus, and then keep moving forward. Because you've got what it takes. You just have to give yourself the space to breathe and think clearly. Success isn't about sprinting to the finish line. It's about pacing yourself, staying focused, and pushing through when times get tough. So if you're young, remember, you're capable and you have so much potential. And if you're not young anymore, you have so much potential and you're capable. The world may throw challenges your way, but remember, those challenges are just opportunities in disguise. With the right mindset, the right focus, and the right perseverance, there's really nothing that you can't achieve. So from here on out, when you're feeling overwhelmed, and when you're feeling like the weight of the world seems to be on your shoulders, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Focus on the present and understand that this moment, this breath, could be the difference between giving up and moving forward. If you don't breathe, you'll suffocate under the pressure. But if you do breathe, you'll see clearly. You'll find rhythm, your resilience, and your path forward. So, your future is at stake here. Breathe, stay focused, and never stop moving forward. Thank you.